computer. Cool. All right, Keenan, Gabe here, Plan PMs. We're going to do another demo today. This time we're going to walk through JIRA Software Classic projects. And I think before we do that, there's one thing we'll highlight. I think we missed it yesterday. There is a Your Work section up here in the top, and it looks like it has all the stuff that you viewed, stuff that's assigned to you, and things that you've starred. And you can make this your new JIRA homepage, which I just did, which is great. We'll see how this evolves as we set up our next project and how it gets populated. Another thing to highlight too about the projects area overview, so you can see your different types. You can also filter by types, where you have your service desk projects, which would be tied to service desk, and then you have your core projects, which is the business projects. And I think this is JIRA Core. It's built for HR, recruitment, project management, more. It's the non-software team focused projects. And each of the service desk and core are separate JIRA products. So we're not going to evaluate them as part of this, but that's how it kind of all their different products roll up into one sort of interface, which is JIRA software. Cool. Let's go ahead and create a new project, and we're going to call this one the Classic project. See, this is controlling consistency across many teams is why you would pick this. Full feature set, advanced configuration, set up and maintained by admins, so has locked down by who can do what, versus the next gen, which we did yesterday, where anyone can set up and maintain this. There is no roadmap on Classic, so I'm interested to understand why they made that decision. Maybe we can figure it out. It is compatible with Portfolio for JIRA, which I guess next gen is not. Card layout customization, which can't do on. Did they just update this? I feel like they did. Anyways, there's a ton of stuff that you can't do in next gen that you can do in Classic, which is what we're going to explore. We'll just call this a Classic demo, and share settings with an existing project. Can we do that? So it looks like if there's another project that's set up, you can go ahead and start from there. We're going to start from scratch just to see how this goes.
It's only a Classic project though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking for easy setup and reimagined features. Reimagined. That's awesome. I think we're looking for Classic. We can do bug tracking, Scrum, Kanban. These two options were what was in next gen. Bug tracking was not. Do you have a preference on this? Or we could also do a business setup where we could do project management, process control, document approval, recruiting, content management, lead tracking, or procurement. What do you want to do, Keenan? You can pick.
Project management.
All right, select. And we have our Classic view that looks oddly similar to the view we looked at yesterday. Although there's less buttons on this table or this board. I guess the first thing they want me to do here with the flashing orange is creating a new issue. So I'll go do that. Our first issue. I so wish I could do Slack emojis in titles. That'd be great. So we've gotten that. We have in progress done. I don't know how to set this board up. There's no way to configure it or change lanes. So we'll just poke around the different tabs till we figure it out. Let's see, activity, stats, to issue status. One is in to do. I guess issues statistics is right there. We got some more issues over here. I can, wow, that's interesting. A gear icon for refreshing. Cool. Got that. Issues and filters. So this looks like the search view that we saw yesterday. It's just a little bit different. Let's see, reported by me, created. Key. Last view. That's just a quick way to go through all of your issues. There's an advanced search here. The resolution status, which is interesting. Cool.
So yeah, that one you can that lets you differentiate between different types of closed statuses, right? So you can have like closed done, closed won't do, closed duplicate. That's what that represents, I think.
Yep, makes sense. I think this is the same editor that was in the other JIRA Next Gen, so we won't go there. We have basic fields as well, time tracking components. I'm not sure what that is. We'll get into it. And then we can go ahead and start, so I can change my workflow right here. Mm-hmm. Something I really wish we had in GitLab is just like, instead of labels, you just can drop this down and go to a different workflow step. Convert this to subtask. You can go ahead and log my work, just time tracking. This is all stuff that we kind of demoed yesterday. So let's go back to the project. Let's look at some reports. And I think we also looked at a lot of these reports yesterday.
Well, so one of the differences here though, is that there's 20 plus reports available for Classic, but we only had the 4 basic reports for a sprint based project in the new version. And that's one of the items in the comparison when you create a project. Yeah.
Although they did have a lot more gadgets than they said
for the dashboards, right? Yeah. And so I think one of the things to note is it looks like they might be moving a lot of these reports to that dashboarding view, and keeping the sprint specific ones, or at least iteration specific ones. Reports tab, yeah.
Let's see, single level group by report, grouped by particular field. So yeah, we're pretty extensible reporting. It looks like we can come back to this if we want to explore anything once we create a few more issues.
Like that average age report, that's a handy one.
Yeah. I don't want to go here. Why? So this is the settings. Let's see if we can change our board here.
I think it's down in workflows, right? Because it's down, yeah.
Probably. I noticed this, like, you can't change your project type once it's created, so that's a bummer. Manage your people here, so we'll go ahead and add you in. Pretty straightforward. Role. You can be an administrator of this. Summary. All right, so here's where we get into some versions of creative version. It's interesting these are all in project settings. Like creating a version in project settings. 1.0.0 GA, baby. And we'll release this on, the default date is 2018. I don't know why. Let's see here. Start this one on January 1. We'll release it for March, the end of March. All right, so this is similar to the view we had yesterday. Back to the summary. I guess this will show all the list of versions, but it's not interactive. What is a component? A project can be broken down into components, e.g. database, user interface. Issues can then be categorized against different components. Some of our customers use this, and they also say this is one of the most used fields in JIRA.
You say abused?
Abused, yes. Where like it's for different functional areas, but people are using it for all sorts of other organizational slices, if that makes sense. So we'll create one for back here. Component lead. Can you be the component lead for the back end?
Sure. Sounds like
default assignee. So I guess you can create a lead for this component, which is a component a team? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know yet. I'm trying to get in there so I can poke around too.
Let's Google this right quick. JIRA component. subsections of a project. What exactly is it? JIRA component. So JIRA components are subsections of a project. They're used to group issues within a project into smaller parts. We take a look at managing components and defining components for more information. The stack post titled Supervises OSGI components and services. Component tends to be an object whose life cycle is managed, usually by a component framework such as declarative services. A component may have any of the following features in combination or alone. Started and stopped. This we consider active component, though that is also an informal term. A component that doesn't need to be started or stopped is called passive. A component may publish itself. A component may bind to or consume. So here, simply ways to categorize work in a project. Cool.
Okay.
So it's sort of like what we do, you know, where we can create another one for UX. I guess you could use it for like function or features too, or something like that. Okay, so we got some components. Let's go back to settings. Summary, let's see. Cool, roles. JIRA enables you to allocate particular people to specific roles in your project. Roles are used when defining other settings. View project roles. Can you customize the roles? We'll go back to that if we find it somewhere. Permissions allow you to control who can access your project, work on issues, default permission scheme, which is what? Trouble, use a permissions helper to discover why a user does not have rights to certain permissions. Cool. That's interesting. So it's fairly extensible.
Yeah, I think you have, since you're the admin, I think we, it looks like we only have tasks and subtasks as issue types on this project. And that might just be the defaults because we picked the project management one.
All right, so here are all the different roles that we actually, now that we've uncovered this, you can grant permission to, like, let's say, administer projects to a project role, an application process, a group, user custom field value, service desk customer portal access, reporter, current ID, single user, project lead, or group custom value field. So you can pretty much do whatever you want. And now I don't, that popped me into my overall look like instance admin view to see all that stuff. Permissions, notifications, we won't get into that. Again, there's schemes for these things. It's like for all, I think within this, everything kind of has a basic scheme or schema. And then those get, you define those, it looks like in the instance admin area, which is here. So I can look at all the projects, JIRA settings, default. So where do I go create like a new? Notifications maybe in here, global mail, notification helper. That's kind of funny, like find out, type their name to find out why they can't get notifications. Oh, everything gets so complicated.
Yeah, I mean, so far it seems like the next gen build is meant to consolidate and simplify things.
Yes, I think so. We'll look at notifications later. Screens, here's workflows. Let's look at okay. Okay, so here we go. This is I guess another key difference too is like any of this stuff that you want to change has to be changed at the admin level. So like all of your schemes, you can't really edit any of the stuff. Well, you can, you just have to go somewhere else to do that. So I guess I can in here though edit the issue layout. So okay. So I can kind of customize, I guess, what fields I want to show up on my issue at the project level. Workflows. Let's see here, add a workflow. Can't really edit these here. We'll go look at the workflow builder in a little bit. Or can I just edit this one directly? So this kicks me into JIRA admin as well.
Yep.
So we'll go look through the admin stuff in a little bit. Let's see, fields. Oh, this is okay. Effects versions is on 2 screens. It's on the default screen and the Kanban bug screen. The assignee is on. So this is where you can kind of see your default field configuration. Create issue, edit issue. So these are your screen schemes, probably like your different views. And they apply to these issue types. So that's how that maps together. The order fields new except for issue types and projects so that issues have consistent look across project locations. See, this is what I'm scared of. Like, people want custom fields in GitLab, and I know why.
Yep.
But this is what ends up what you end up with.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go back over here. So we looked at versions already. We created some components. I don't know. How do I just change the things on a board? Like if I want to have.
So I think if you go to the board and wherever you can configure the board.
I don't know where that is.
But
I can put in progress. Oh wait, no. Looks like someone is in the middle of editing this workflow.
So I think the board, I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I built these out in JIRA, but I think the board pulls directly from your workflow setup. So that diagram you had with like the open, in progress, closed, and the directional lines, I think that ends up defining your board structure.
All right. Let's explore. Okay, we're now in the JIRA administration areas. The things that we do here relate to all projects. So like I think the basic gist is you create schemes. Projects can then adopt schemes for different objects, whether it's custom fields, workflows. So here we see issue types. We can edit this bug if we want to change a universal description. We can change the avatar or the icon. I don't know why they call this an avatar for a non-personal object. Looking at schemes, let's create one. I think we created one yesterday, this test schema. Let's go ahead and associate this, why not, to our classic demo. So if we now, let's see here, let me go back, open another tab. Let's go look at our projects, a classic demo, and we create a new issue. We should be able to change this type to, yep, now we have bugs here, we have stories, tasks, epics. So these are all the issue types that were showed up ahead, and then all these things are hidden based on the label or the custom field configuration, not to show above the fold unless they have a valid value. So cool. That's how projects, classic projects, inherit issue type schemes.
What's that associate? Sorry, maybe I missed that.
So that's what is interesting is like I created a project, but it created a new issue type scheme. The associate is where I said I wanted the classic demo project to use this scheme. So
can you assign multiple schemas to the same project?
No, I don't think so. Because if I assign it, associate it back to this one, it will. Let's see, issue type migration overview, steps 1 of 4. This is what I was also interested in seeing how they handled. Some issues have issue types that are no longer applicable. You'll need to move these issues to another issue type. You will need to move each issue type for each project. You need to move each issue type for each project individually. All right, so this one, classic, is that right? Don't change colors if you don't do anything when I hover. Select a new issue type for issues with current story project issue type. I guess you can't make a subtask type. So we're going to migrate all of our story issues in our classic demo back to this type thing. And then all field values will retain the same. Let's see, wait, is this? It's supposed to retain original field values where the original value is valid within the target. This can be achieved by checking the checkbox associated with the required field.
So I think it's because we don't have any custom fields set up for the individual workflows.
Yeah, probably.
Your map. Yep.
Well, to say, at least they were thoughtful and they let us do a little migration. We talked about that with like milestone types, and we're going to simplify it for now. But if we ever introduce that and you transfer an issue from one group sub-project to another group sub-project that doesn't have the same, let's say, labels or whatever configured, right now we're just making assumptions about things and duplicating labels or just removing them. But it would be nice if we let people like control that through a migration or something. All right, so now that we've migrated that back to this, so I think if we go back here and just associate it, we don't have to do the migration because there are no fields. So you can go back and forth. And I think this is where issue types kind of looked at that. I think you can even add translation for this, I'm guessing. Name, United States, Slovak. So you are in charge of your own translations, I'm assuming?
Wait, hold on. Yeah. Go back to that. Is that where you can, maybe, is this like this allows you to, well, I can't read it if you do that.
Sorry.
So this will override translations that may exist for the issue concerning your language resource model.
I wonder if people, if people use this to hack the view for like the fields that they can't change themselves.
I was going to ask actually, like, could you use this to customize, like, you could set bugs to be default or defects if you wanted.
Yeah, I guess you could do this for English. Let's see what happens. But I don't know if I think if you look inside of the settings, see here, issues, issue types, you can just change the name of it. So we could change this from bug to defect.
Oh, you're right. Yep.
So that's a bit of overkill. And I like this. I like being able to relabel the UI based on like what you call something. Like it's a big thing for teams, like to feel at home.
So multiple teams operating off different frameworks, or you've acquired somebody and they use something and you don't want to completely disrupt it, or transitioning from one tool to another and you want to make it.
That's right. And right now I think it only happens at the JIRA Classic at the admin level, but I think with JIRA Next Gen, you can change the field names on a per project basis. So if we look at this one, we go into our project settings and issue types. We look at a bug. We can just edit, or no. Oh yeah, there we go. Defect. So it's on a per project basis that I can rename these. Which is nice.
Yep.
All right, subtasks. I don't add a subtask issue type. Here we get into subby. Call them subby. Translate, manage.
Well, now we have 2 types of subtasks.
Yep. So you can create as many as you want of that. And then here we get into workflows. Let's add one. You want to build one from scratch?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I also found you can import them from the marketplace. So it looks like people are air focus, prioritize what to do with easy to use scoring system, make better decisions with visualized priorities. So this is kind of cool to get crowdsourced.
Yep.
Story flows. Sweet. Back here, we'll go back. How do I get out of cancel, return to workflows? What's that?
Celebrity mashup name.
Yeah. You like that or what?
Like it's that or Gabian. Gabianon.
Yeah. I like Gabe. Gabe. All right, so we have something in here called open. This is what happens. I can drag this thing around, which is cool. Great. I don't know what.
I think that's just start point. So you create an issue and it goes into the open category.
Yeah, so the circle, but I can click on the line, options, properties. What?
So yeah, so you actually you can define transition properties.
Why did I get kicked out of a different screen? Ugh. What is a transition property?
Oh, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've had to do this. TPS report.
I don't know what it does.
Just put one. See what happens.
Add. All right. Cool. Let's go back to that. So now, I guess, screen. What the?
So remember, screens allows you to customize the individual view you get when you interact with an issue. So I think if we go if you hit click default screen.
The post function creates this issue originally. What would it create unoriginally? What? Sorry. Reindex an issue to keep indexes in sync with the database. Wouldn't that happen automatically? Fire an issue created event that can be processed by listeners.
Yeah. It looks like there's editable items over. There's an edit option.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what.
Oh, so this is if you have you have event listeners that you need to you can actually update the events it's pushing.
Yeah, it's a work. It's work. It's like I just am wondering, like these things all seem like they're,
Yeah.
like I don't know. Only users with create issues permission can execute this transition. So it looks like you can lock this down, this transition down to some sort of permission, which is cool. I'm kind of lost a little bit though, because we have our start, create, open,
Right.
view properties. Keenan, if we build workflows into GitLab, please don't ever let me do this. Don't ever do this either.
You got it.
Let's support each other.
Okay.
Let's go back and simplify this. We have our post function. So this is what happens after it gets fired. I'm sure the validators make sure that it's a valid operation, that like this is a permissions thing.
Well, and I think it's that, and then you can set like make sure these fields have input.
Yeah, let's see if we can do that, because that's something that people have been asking for in GitLab, is like in custom fields, required custom fields.
Yeah.
So let's add a validator. And let's say that date compare, date window, compare two date fields, adding time span and days to one of them.
So that's that third one. Yep. Field required.
Field required, add.
Then you can choose from all your fields.
Points, where's points? Or we can just say, what do we want to say? A description is a required field. I
would say a label. There's a label option in there, I saw. Like you have to put some label in there so that it gets, yeah.
A reporter or request type? What's a request type?
Guess we'll find out. There you go. Story points. There it is.
Seems between a story point estimate and story points, maybe like before and after.
It might be.
What about team?
Yep. Here.
And a weird thing time spent. Okay.
It's some, right?
So you can create a custom error message for each of these. So like if we want to do one required field per, and then we could customize the error message.
Yep.
So invalid, missing required field. Either and labels, story points, reporter, or team. All right, cool. So we got that in there. Let's go back to our Gabe workflow. I guess I got kicked out of the like pretty editor and this
diagram on the left. There's a tab.
Oh yeah, text versus diagram. Got it. Thank you for that. That was helpful.
Gotcha.
Open. Allow all status transitions to this one. How do we add a status? Ooh. What's the next one? Backlog.
I don't know. Hit the drop down. See what we get.
Building closed. Done. In progress.
Let's go to do.
To do. Allow all statuses to transition to this one.
Yep.
And we don't want like any of them, do we? Okay.
And then you connect it. You can, on the diagram, you can click on one of the dots and connect it.
Boop. New transition. Stats from open. Two stats to do. Name. Open.
Well, it should be open to do, right? Because we're naming the transition. Yeah.
We'll just leave it default screen. Added. Cool. Great. What do we want to have after this? In progress?
Progress, yeah.
Or is there doing?
No, in progress.
And what other stats should we have? In progress.
Well, time, go to done.
Done.
Or closed.
Well, I think let's look at done and then closed, because there's teams that I've talked to who don't use closed as done because they hand off the issue to someone else, and so they can never use like burnouts and GitLab because of that. So like we're gonna have to figure out how to solve for this too. So now let me like make this so that we can. All right, so to do. Can an issue go from?
Yeah, you can have or options.
Open to closed?
Yeah.
I'm sure. You probably want to do that. And then say
closed won't do.
And then to in progress. Start. And then say done. Reviewed. We can say the transition is reviewed, maybe. And then we're going to add one back up here to closed. Say completed. You can say maybe verified or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So should you ever be able to go from in progress back to do?
Yeah. Some people put a reopen option in there, but it works.
Reopen. What about from in progress done to in progress?
Yeah. I mean, if it gets bounced from reviewed, you could argue it goes back to do, so it can get pulled by the next person, or you go back to in progress because it's a high priority. I mean, I think it comes down to your team workflow, whichever one you prefer.
Yeah. So this is pretty cool. Like, it seems really complex.
Yeah.
Sort of. But also, I guess not super complex in one sense. Like, I like the simplicity of like how visual this is. And being able to like set the workflow automations, which I think is something that's pretty powerful. It just seems like it would be hard to, like, if everybody has their own thing, it would be hard to figure this out,
Right, but that's the whole reason that this is locked as an administratable action, right? Is that that's the acceptable workflows, and teams can choose which ones work for them.
Yeah. All right. So if this is here, how do we turn this active? Like, do we have to save anything or?
Yeah. Scroll down. Is there anything at the bottom like save or? Yeah. It might just be inactive because it's not assigned to anything.
All right. Well, let's.
So expand inactive. So it's like a carrot. Yeah. Ooh. All right. So there's cave. All right.
So how do we assign this to?
Workflow schemes. Maybe.
Inactive. Classic demo.
Oh, so yeah. Where were you able to assign it to the demo? That's might be a project level setting.
All right, let's go look at the project.
Project setting. Yep. And so then on the switch scheme, maybe.
I don't think we defined a scheme. I think we just defined a new workflow.
Okay.
Choose from add existing.
Okay.
Here it is. All right. So next, assign to issue type. So you can have different workflows for different issue types, which makes sense. Why are you showing me arrows? What's wrong with this? Wait.
Well, you gotta hold on there for a bit.
For a workflow to remain active in your project, it must have at least one issue type assigned to it. If you assign this issue type to this workflow, you will be deactivating another workflow and removing it from this project. Okay, so I'm overwriting an existing workflow with a new one. Cool. So now that that's there, let's see if we go back to the board now. What?
You gotta publish it up top.
Oh yeah, there. Publish, change, and publish. Current status of each issue needs to be changed so that it's compatible with the new workflows.
Yep.
Oh, a migration.
There's only 2 issues.
Mm-hmm. I guess there's no way around migrating though if you like update something in the middle of you have a bunch of other things using different.
Mm-hmm. And depending on how large your your list of things are, that can take quite a long time.
Yeah. All right, let's check this out.
There you go.
Sweet. In progress, closed, done. But
look,
isn't
if you click and drag like a issue over, if you keep going, see how you are not able to drop it in there because of the workflow we built.
Yeah.
But yeah, drop it to in progress. And then you get so then you get the opportunity to update fields. So this is the screens stuff that was talking about. So you can actually define a set of parameters that need to be inputted into an issue before it can transition states. So if you think about if you have like a review column, you can set like required, that it's assigned to, somebody or, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then click start. I can't move it into close because I can move it back to do.
Yep.
I can't move it to open. So yeah, that makes sense. But here we're back to the same problem. And I guess the way that they structured things is they put their scheme for the workflows in the admin level. The project can say we're going to adopt the scheme like as a project. But that's like in GitLab, there's projects that lots of teams work in. So the team would all have to agree to a workflow. And maybe like that's a constraint that we just have to accept, but it also feels like not ideal. I don't know.
Yep.
All right. Anything else that you want to see? I think that was like the big thing.
Nope, that's the big stuff. And then I've actually got another call I got to hop on. So.
All right. Thank you. And thanks for joining us for our wonderful walkthrough of JIRA.
Classic.
No.
See you, buddy.
See you, man.